Please. You were saying...
Oh, you gotta give him that hawk too and spit on that thing, you get me?
I didn't mean to offend. I just thought you should know that
That I should know what? That some privileged white guy thinks his opinion matters? Get over your entitlement.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
This is no ordinary apple, my dear. It's a magic wishing apple. A wishing apple? Yes, one bite.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Super weird.
So we didn't do that this time.
Say, if I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed on.
What has she done to you? Fear not. First Love's Kiss can break any curse.
But it's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
They're remaking the movie. They just got rid of the dwarves. Okay,
but what do they call them?
Why would they get rid of the dwarves, though?
Magical creatures.
I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have. I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats.
When America's longest-running animated sitcom decides to parody you, it's usually not a good sign for your career. The Simpsons are preparing to air an episode that doesn't just gently poke fun at Rachel Zegler, it absolutely eviscerates her. In a shocking move that has Hollywood insiders buzzing, the iconic show is targeting the Snow White actress with a brutally direct parody called SnowWoke, the Reimagining. This isn't just another celebrity cameo or subtle reference, it's a full-blown roasting that might just be the final nail in Zegler's already crumbling career coffin. But how did we get here? Just 2 years ago, Rachel Zegler was Hollywood's golden girl. After beating out thousands of hopefuls to land the coveted role of Maria in Spielberg's West Side Story, her star was rising meteorically. Critics praised her performance, awards shows celebrated her talent, and Disney handed her the keys to one of their most precious kingdoms, Snow White. It should have been her fairy tale moment, the kind of opportunity young actresses dream about. Instead, it became the beginning of her spectacular downfall. The trouble started almost immediately after her casting announcement.
Here's a story from Variety. Disney scales back Snow White Hollywood premiere amid Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot controversies. Now, this is the lighter headline.
Rather than expressing gratitude or reverence for the iconic role she'd inherited, Zegler began giving interviews that left Disney fans bewildered and increasingly angry. It's no longer 1937, she declared in one particularly infamous clip. She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. In another interview, she referred to the original prince as literally stalking Snow White and called the beloved classic weird and outdated. These weren't just passing comments, they became her entire promotional strategy. With each new interview, Zegler seemed determined to criticize the very foundation of the story she was being paid millions to bring to life. Social media erupted. The phrase "girl boss Snow White" started trending, with fans accusing her of injecting modern politics into a timeless fairy tale. YouTube videos analyzing her interviews racked up millions of views, with comment sections filled with viewers who couldn't believe what they were hearing. "Did Disney not coach her on what to say?" became a common refrain. But Zegler doubled down, seemingly oblivious to the backlash or, worse, actively feeding it. The disconnect between her approach and what audiences wanted from Snow White grew wider with every public appearance. And then came the awkward dynamic with co-star Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen. Their joint appearances sent the rumor mill into overdrive. During the Oscars, the pair presented an award together in what many described as one of the most uncomfortable moments in recent Academy history.
To everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
Their stilted interaction, minimal eye contact, and forced smiles had body language experts working overtime. Backstage sources began whispering that Gadot had purposely distanced herself from the controversy Zegler was creating, concerned about her own image by association. While all this was unfolding, Disney made the baffling decision to remain silent. No damage control, no adjusted messaging, no public show of support for their leading lady. Just business as usual, a strategy that would prove catastrophic. When details about the film's changes began leaking, fans were stunned. Gone were the 7 dwarfs, replaced by magical creatures, with one token dwarf included. Gone was the charming prince, replaced with a more politically palatable storyline. Gone was Snow White's iconic origin story. In this version, she gets her name from surviving a snowstorm rather than having skin as white as snow. Each revelation further alienated the very audience the film needed to succeed. But the real disaster came with the film's release. Despite Disney's marketing machine working overtime, Snow White debuted to catastrophically low box office numbers. Critics weren't kind either, with reviews describing it as a soulless reimagining that misses the point of fairy tales entirely. On IMDb, the film crashed to a staggering 1.6 rating, one of the lowest scores for a major Disney production in history. The industry response was swift and merciless. Projects that once had Zegler's name attached mysteriously announced casting changes. Disney quietly removed her from consideration for voice work on upcoming Toy Story projects.
Snow White is the lowest performing Disney movie in decades. No one waited in line to see it. Are you kidding?
Insider reports suggest that major studios now view her as box office poison, a dramatic reversal for someone once hailed as the next big thing. Adding to her professional woes, Zegler's personal life also fell victim to the backlash hurricane. Her relationship with West Side Story co-star Josh Andres Rivera reportedly couldn't withstand the pressure. Friends close to the couple have suggested that the relentless public scrutiny and Zegler's deteriorating reputation created a strain that ultimately broke them. What was once celebrated as a Hollywood power couple quietly dissolved amid the chaos. And now, in what might be the most devastating blow yet, comes the Simpsons parody. The show that has predicted presidential elections and skewered countless celebrities is turning its satirical gaze directly at Zegler. According to leaked details, the episode features a character named Rachel Z starring in SnowWoke, the Reimagining, a film that rewrites fairy tale lore, bans princes entirely, and ultimately flops spectacularly in Springfield theaters. The parody pulls absolutely no punches, showing the Rachel character delivering preachy monologues to confused villagers before suffering a full meltdown on Krusty the Clown's talk show. For those in Hollywood, The Simpsons parody represents more than just another joke. It's cultural certification that your fall from grace has officially entered the mainstream consciousness. Perhaps most bizarrely, in a twist that blurred reality and fiction, an AI-generated fake OnlyFans profile using Zegler's likeness surfaced online. While she had absolutely no involvement, the fact that thousands briefly believed it speaks volumes about how dramatically her public image has shifted. From Disney princess to industry cautionary tale in less than 2 years, a transformation few could have predicted. Industry analysts now speculate about what this means for Zegler's future. Hollywood loves comeback stories, but they typically require a period of reflection, carefully managed public appearances, and a role that reminds audiences why they were drawn to you in the first place. For Zegler, that path seems increasingly narrow. Some insiders suggest she might find salvation in independent cinema, away from franchise pressures and rabid fan expectations.
So one thing about Bob Iger is that we know that he is now in complete damage control mode as well as double down mode to really just try and attempt to fix this movie as much as possible, to lie to the audience.
Others wonder if a strategic retreat from the spotlight, perhaps returning to theater where she first honed her craft, might give her the space needed to rebuild her reputation. What's certain is that Zegler's experience has become a case study in how not to handle a beloved property. In an era where fans feel deeply connected to childhood classics, her approach struck many as dismissive and condescending. While updating stories for modern audiences isn't inherently problematic, her interviews suggested contempt for the very material she was entrusted with. The question now isn't whether Rachel Zegler can recover, it's whether Hollywood will give her the chance. With The Simpsons episode set to immortalize her missteps in pop culture history, she faces an uphill battle unlike any seen in recent memory. For an industry built on perception and bankability, having your career disasters parodied on primetime television might just be impossible to overcome. As the dust continues to settle on the Snow White debacle, one thing remains clear: Rachel Zegler's story has transformed from fairy tale to cautionary tale. And in Hollywood, where image is everything and second chances aren't guaranteed, that might be the most tragic ending of all.